I need you to understand something today that is going to completely change the way you see everything that has been done against you. God just filed a case. And I do not mean that metaphorically. I mean it in the most real, most serious, most significant way I know how to say it. The God of the universe, the one who sees everything, who misses nothing, who has been watching every single thing that has been done against you, has opened a case against the people who hurt you, against the systems that failed you, against the betrayals that broke you, against the injustices that were never addressed, against every wrong thing that was done to you in secret, in public, in the dark. In the light, God saw all of it, and he has decided that the time for silence is over. The time for the case to be heard has arrived, and today I am going to walk you through everything that means. Let me start by telling you something that I think you need to hear before anything else. What was done to you was wrong. I know that sounds simple, but I want to say it clearly, because sometimes in the process of trying to heal, trying to forgive, trying to move forward, we skip past the acknowledgement. A key. Acknowledgement. We go straight to God will work it out. God has a plan. God will use it for good without first stopping to say what happened to you was wrong. The betrayal was wrong. The injustice was wrong. The way they treated you was wrong. The things they said about you were wrong. The doors they closed against you were wrong. The opportunities they stole were wrong. The years they cost you were wrong. All of it wrong. And God knows it. He has always known it. And he has been building a case since the moment it started. Now, let me tell you what the divine court actually looks like. Because this is not like a human court. Human courts have limitations. Evidence can be hidden. Witnesses can lie. Powerful people can buy outcomes. The truth can be obscured by those with better lawyers and more resources. But the divine court, the court where God is judge, has none of those limitations. Nothing is hidden there. Every conversation that happened about you in rooms you were not in, God heard it. Every plan that was formed against you, in secret God saw it. Every lie that was told about you, God knows the truth. Every corrupt decision that was made to harm you, God has the feed. Third, every tear you cried he collected. Every night you lay awake wondering why he was there. And all of it, every single piece of evidence is already in the file. The case is built. The evidence is complete. And the trial is beginning. I want to walk you through the specific charges that God has filed, because I want you to see that this is not vague. This is not a general God will judge everyone kind of statement. This is specific, targeted, about the specific things that were done to the specific person watching this video. The first charge is injustice, specifically the deliberate, knowing, intentional injustice that was carried out against you by people who knew what they were doing, who knew the truth and chose a different story, who knew the right thing and chose something else, who had the power to help you and used it against you instead. The injustice that was not accidental, not a misunderstanding, not a failure of information, but a choice, a deliberate choice to treat you in a way that was not right. God does not miss injustice. He is specifically, passionately, consistently concerned with justice throughout all of Scripture, throughout all of history. He is a God who sees injustice and does not ignore it. He may be patient. He may allow time for repentance, for restitution, for the person to make it right, but he does not ignore it. And the injustice done to you has not been ignored. It has been filed, and it is being addressed. The second charge is betrayal, the specific, personal, relationship-level betrayal that happened when someone who had access to you, who you trusted, who you opened yourself to, who you gave something precious, used that access against you, used what you shared as a weapon, used the vulnerability you extended as leverage, used the trust you offered as an opportunity. Betrayal is one of the most serious charges in the divine court, because betrayal requires a specific kind of evil. It requires relationship. It requires getting close enough to hurt. It requires gaining trust specifically to violate it. And the God who values covenant, who values faithfulness, who values the sacred nature of genuine relationship, takes betrayal seriously, more seriously than most people realize. And the one who betrayed you, who used the closeness you offered to do what they did, has a charge against them in the divine court that is not small. The third charge is theft, not necessarily of physical things, although for some of you it was physical. But the theft I am talking about goes deeper than possessions. The theft of your time, the years you spent in situations that were draining your life while they benefited from it. The theft of your opportunities, doors that were closed against you through someone's deliberate action, opportunities that were yours, that were taken through manipulation, through false narrative, through the abuse of power. The theft of your reputation, the narrative that was built about you that was not true, that cost you relationships, opportunities, the trust of people who believed it. The theft of your peace, the seasons of sleeplessness, anxiety, hypervigilance that were the direct result of what was done to you. All of it theft. And God, who sees not just the obvious theft, but the subtle, systemic, relationship-level theft, has it all in the file. The fourth charge is abuse of power. Some of what was done to you was done by people who had power over you in some form. Authority over you, resources you needed, access to things that affected your life, influence over people whose perception of you mattered. And they used that power not to serve you, not to lead you, protect you, provide for you, but to control you, to diminish you, to keep you in a position where you were dependent on them and they could continue to benefit from that dependence. Abuse of power is a specific offense in the divine court because power was given to be used for others, not against them. And every person who was given authority over you and used it to harm you rather than help you is answerable for that. The fifth charge is false witness, the lies that were told about you, the things that were said that were not true in public, in private, in rooms you had no access to. The narrative that was constructed about who you are, what you did, what your motives were that did not match the truth. And the people who told those lies, who chose a false story over an accurate one, are answerable to a God who is truth itself, who does not grade lying on a curve, who does not look at convenient lies, self-protective lies, malicious lies, and categorize them differently. A lie is a lie, and every lie told about you is in the file. Now I want to talk about what happens during the divine trial, because understanding the process is what allows you to trust the outcome. The first thing that happens during the divine trial is that truth is established, not argued, established. Because in the divine court, unlike human courts, the truth does not need to be proven. It simply needs to be revealed. And God's revelation of truth is not subject to the spin of better lawyers, the silencing of witnesses, the destruction of evidence. Everything that happened exactly as it happened is already known. The truth is established before the trial begins, which means the trial is not about determining guilt. It is about the response to it, the accountability, the restitution, the restoration of what was taken. The second thing that happens during the divine trial is that every excuse is heard and evaluated honestly. Because God is a just judge, He does not condemn without hearing. He allows every defense, every explanation, every mitigating factor, every context that might speak to why someone did what they did. He hears all of it, and then He weighs it against the truth, against the impact, against the standard of what was required of them in that court situation. And He renders a verdict that is not based on who has the better argument, but on what is actually true and what justice actually requires. The third thing that happens during the divine trial is that the verdict is perfect, not approximate, not mostly fair, perfect, because the judge is perfect, without bias, without corruption, without limitation of information, without the influence of money, relationship, or power. The God who judges has no conflict of interest. He has no relationship with the defendant that would cause him to look the other way. He has no fear of the powerful that would cause him to temper a verdict. He has no political consideration that would cause him to delay justice indefinitely. He simply judges according to truth, according to righteousness, according to love for the one who was wronged. And the verdict always is perfect. The fourth thing that happens during the divine trial is that restitution is ordered. Not just punishment of the wrongdoer, but restoration of the wronged. Because God's justice is not only about what happens to the one who did wrong. It is equally about what is returned to the one who was wronged. And this is where the divine court exceeds anything a human court could ever deliver. Human courts can order compensation. The divine court orders restoration, full restoration of everything that was taken. The time, the opportunity, the reputation, the peace, the relationships, the years, the potential, not a partial return, not an approximation. Full restoration with the specific interest that God adds when he restores what the enemy stole. Not just back to where you were, beyond where you were, restored to a place that is greater than what existed before the wrong was done. Now I want to speak to something that I know is sitting in the heart of many of you as you watch this. The question of timing, because you have been watching the people who hurt you seem to face no consequences, seem to be doing fine, seem to be moving forward with their lives, as if what they did had no weight, as if no account would be required. And you have been wondering if God saw it. Why has nothing happened? If a case was filed, why has there been no verdict? If justice is real, where is it? And I want to answer that as honestly as I know how. God's timeline for justice is not our timeline, and the patience he owes to the person who did wrong the time he gives for repentance, for restitution, for turning is not injustice, it is mercy. Mercy that he extends because he would rather the person return than be judged. But that mercy has a limit. There comes a point where the patience ends, and the verdict comes. And when God's verdict comes, it is thorough, not partial, not a tap on the wrist. A complete, total, nothing hidden reckoning. And every day that seems to pass without visible consequence is actually a day where the case is being built more completely, where more evidence is being added, where the fullness of what was done is being documented in a way that ensures that when the verdict comes, it is complete. Trust the timeline, not because it feels comfortable, but because the judge who is managing the timeline has never failed to bring justice to those who wait for it. Now I want to talk about what you need to do while the divine case is proceeding. Because the trial is happening, but you have a life to live in the meantime. And how you live in the season of the trial determines how fully you receive the outcome of it. The first thing you need to do is release the case to go, and stop trying to manage it yourself. This is the hardest one. Because when you have been wronged, when the injustice is real, and the pain is real, the natural human response is to want to manage it, to make sure the right people know, to ensure that the narrative does not go unchallenged, to keep the case alive in the minds of everyone around you, so that no one forgets what was done. And the exhaustion of managing your own case, of being your own attorney, your own PR firm, your own justice department, is one of the most draining things a chosen one can do, because it consumes the energy that should go toward building what is next. God is a better attorney than you will ever be. He has access to rooms you cannot enter. He can reach hearts that your words cannot. He can build your case in ways that no human effort can replicate. Let him. File the case with him, and then focus your energy on what he has called you to do, while he handles what belongs to him. The second thing you need to do is stay clean in your response. Because how you respond to what was done to you matters, not just morally, strategically. Because the divine court is watching how you respond as part of the quarter, and a response that is clean, that does not retaliate in kind, that does not stoop to the level of what was done, that does not respond to lies with more lies, to manipulation with more manipulation. A clean response strengthens your position in the divine court. It demonstrates the contrast between who you are and what was done to you. And it closes the door to any argument that what happened was provoked. Stay clean, not because it is easy, because it is strategic, and because the version of you that responds with integrity to what was done without integrity is the version of you that the divine court vindicates. The third thing you need to do is keep building, because the enemy and the people who acted as instruments of the enemy against you wanted the attack to stop your building, to derail the purpose, to cost you enough time, energy, reputation, and peace that you stopped doing what you were called to do. And the most powerful response to that strategy is to keep building anyway, to refuse to let what was done against you become the reason you did not become everything you were made to be. Every day you build, every day you create, every day you step into P. A purpose in spite of what was done is a day the enemy's strategy fails. And a failed strategy is its own kind of verdict. Keep building. The fourth thing you need to do is forgive. And I want to be careful here because this word forgiveness is one of the most misunderstood words in the spiritual vocabulary. Forgiveness is not saying what was done was okay. It was not okay. God's case against them is evidence that it was not okay. Forgiveness is not pretending it did not happen. It happened. And the case God filed acknowledges that it happened. Forgiveness is not reconciliation. You do not have to return to proximity with people who have shown you what they are capable of. Forgiveness is not even something you feel first. It is something you choose first, and the feeling follows. Forgiveness is the decision to release the debt from your own hands, not because they deserve it, not because it does not matter, not because justice is not real, but because carrying the debt is poisoning you, is keeping you connected to them in a way that gives them continued access to your peace, is consuming space in you that was designed for something else. Forgiveness is handing the debt to them. A divine court, saying, God, this is yours. I am no longer managing this. I am placing it in your hands. You render the verdict. You order the restitution. You do what only you can do. And I am going to walk forward with my hands free. The fifth thing you need to do is prepare for the verdict, because it is coming, and verdicts from the divine court require preparation to receive fully. The restoration that is coming, the return of what was taken, requires you to be ready to receive it. The vindication that is coming, the clearing of your name, requires you to know your name clearly enough to receive its clearing. The open doors that are coming as the corrupt closures are reversed require you to be ready to walk through them. So prepare, not anxiously, but actively. Keep developing, keep growing. Keep becoming the person who can fully steward everything that is about to be restored, because the restoration that follows a divine verdict is not small, and a person who is not prepared for it can be overwhelmed by it. Prepare. Now, I want to speak to some specific chosen ones who are watching this in different situations. To the chosen one who is in an active legal situation, the divine court is not separate from the natural one. God works in natural courts too. He influences hearts. He reveals evidence. He redirects decisions. He moves in ways that no human attorney can explain. The natural court is not outside his authority, and the case he has filed has implications for what happens in the natural courtroom too. Do not separate the spiritual from the natural. Bring both to God. Ask him to be present in every courtroom, every hearing, every decision, and trust that the God who sees all truth can ensure that truth finds its way into even the most compromised human systems. To the chosen one who was betrayed by someone in ministry, by a pastor, a church leader, a spiritual authority, who used their position to harm you, I want to speak specifically to you, because this particular betrayal carries a specific weight. It does not just wound you personally. It wounds your relationship with God. It makes it harder to trust not just the person, but the entire structure through which you were trying to access him. And God sees that. He is angry about it, not in a human reactive way, but in the specific, righteous anger of a father who watches his child. It can be exploited by those who claimed to represent him and did not. The divine case against them is specific, and the restoration for those whose faith was damaged by the betrayal is also specific. He wants to restore not just what was taken from you practically, but the relationship with him that their abuse made harder to access. He is filing that case too, and he is restoring what they stole from you in the spiritual dimension. To the chosen one who was wronged by family, by the people who were supposed to be your first experience of love, your first experience of safety, your first experience of God's nature through human relationship, and who failed that assignment in ways that have shaped everything that came after God sees the family wound. He knows it is the deepest kind, because it reaches back to before you could even form words for what was happening. And the case he has filed includes what happened in the earliest chapters of your story, the things you never had words for, the things you never told anyone because you were too young, too dependent, too unsure of what was normal to know it was not okay. He knows. He was there, and the restoration that is coming